Every day, this prisoner would deliberately get close to the guards, carefully studying the keys on their belts. Back in his cell, he'd sketch out the key's outline over and over. He couldn't afford even the tiniest mistake. Every little detail had to be perfect. So he'd draw it dozens of times just to nail the exact shape. After the guards finished their rounds, he'd light a match and peer into the lock mechanism. Then he'd roll up a piece of paper and slide it into the keyhole, using a stick to probe around inside. This way, he could capture an impression of the lock's internal structure on the paper. He'd compare this with his key drawings and fine-tune any discrepancies. But having blueprints wasn't enough to escape. He needed to actually make the key. Nick had already figured out where to get his materials. Through his woodworking job in the prison, he managed to sneak out a few wooden strips. Late at night, Nick would get to work crafting his key. He'd carve the wood into a concave shape with a knife, then sand every surface smooth. After shaping the key's handle, he'd glue the pieces together and dry them under a lampshade. Once he was sure everything was solidly bonded, he'd carve out the teeth according to his blueprints. After countless hours of carving and sanding, he finally recreated that key from memory. Nick inserted the key into the lock and gently turned it. The lock popped open just like that. But opening one door didn't mean freedom. There was a second door, and its lock could only be opened from the outside. This kind of challenge didn't faze Nick, though. Every chance he got, he'd study the guards' keys, then craft a second key from memory. When cleaning day came around, he tested his handiwork. True to his mechanical genius, the second door opened easily too. But just as Nick tried to turn the lock back, the key got stuck. He pushed hard and the key broke suddenly. Nick panicked instantly. Will Nick manage to escape? This heart-pounding movie is called Escape from Pretoria.